The chair recognizes the Honorable George Darany.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am very grateful for this opportunity to speak to my colleagues for the next 45 minutes. Just kidding, it'll only seem like 45 minutes. While I was preparing these remarks and reflecting on my time here, it occurred to me that the House might be better served if we were instead giving introductory speeches as we were coming in rather than farewell speeches as we were leaving. Perhaps then we might have learned more about what we all have in common outside of politics. Favorite music, top 10 movies, what cars we love, our favorite Michigan vacation spot. Maybe if you knew that I like to write songs and jingles, it could have started more conversations that would have led to more friendships more quickly. You might not know that I have written over 100 songs and advertising jingles. You might remember this one. I am stuck on Band-Aid brand 'cause Band-Aid stuck on me. Well, I didn't write that one. But one day I hope to write a song just as catchy as that one. Along with getting to know each other, there's a lot to learn when you first arrive in Lansing, both about policy and politics. I couldn't believe, for example, how much emphasis there would be put on fundraising. Now, like many of you, I find it difficult to ask people for money. So when I got here, I was glad to learn that the state had already set up an account with money in it just for me. Now, it did seem a little strange that it had millions of dollars in it, but still, good news. Imagine my disappointment then when I learned that they were talking about the rainy day fund, not the rainy day fund. Anyway, I got smarter along the way, and more importantly, I built relationships here that will be important to me for the rest of my life. I want to thank all of you for being an incomparable part of my life for the past 6 years. As we meet here in our final month, many of us will say goodbye to those with whom we have served on committees, argued with, and eventually worked together to do what we considered right for our great state. We have raised our voices in frustration and in celebration of a job well done. Those of us who are leaving go forth as better men and women, confident that we have taken on a great task, the task of representing and giving voice to thousands of citizens who have entrusted us to do not what is right for ourselves, but what is right and necessary for the common good. If I were to mention all the individuals here who have touched my life, this speech would go beyond even the 45 minutes that I threatened you with earlier. But there are some whom I can't leave the chamber without recognizing. I've had 3 wonderful seatmates in my 3 terms here. Steve Lindbergh, my first seatmate, was a true gentleman. His guidance and friendship made my first 2 years very educational and enjoyable. Plus, I learned a new language. Steve, of course, was from the UP. Ellen Kogan-Lipton was my next seatmate. I chose to sit next to her because I knew she had a kind heart and was extremely smart, a Harvard grad, and I was hoping that some of that wisdom would rub off on me. Well, that didn't happen, but her love for education and her ability to work across the aisle was certainly inspiring. That brings me to Sarah Roberts, my current seatmate. Her political insight on state and national issues is amazing. Her passion and views on education, the environment, and women's rights has certainly made me rethink my positions on many bills. And although I will never be as liberal as you, thank you, Sarah, for making me a better legislator. More importantly, thank you for being someone I can always count on. Now, Bob Kosowski has been one of my best friends over the past 4 years. I don't know why. He has more hair, he wears nicer suits and shoes, he's a better poker player, but Bob is very easy to like. He's honest, outgoing, and loves to laugh. We laughed a lot over our years here. We also cried together at Julie Plawecki's funeral and when we lost our friend Pete Patalia. Bob has a heart that's bigger than this chamber, and I'm proud to call him my friend. Now, it's been said that legislators need to have their heads examined. Well, Paul Clementi actually did. Of course, Paul is fine after having emergency surgery last year. Thanks, Paul, for showing legislators that they have nothing to fear. Paul and I have been pals since the very first day we met, and I trust we always will be. Now, I've been blessed with an excellent staff. Christy Schmidt joined Team Darany this year. Her enthusiasm is contagious, and commitment is so appreciated. Thank you, Christy. Lori Dye was with me for 5 years. I'm not sure who misses her most, me or the residents of my district. Lori, thank you so much for all your hard work and your kindness. Then there's Bill. Bill Drake has been with me since day one. Bill has always had my back and definitely made me look good. His loyalty and friendship will never be forgotten. I don't know what I did to deserve Bill, but I do know that we will be friends forever, and I thank God that he put him in my life. Thanks for everything, Bill. I need to thank my best friend, Gary Warnichak, who first put the thought in my head that I could run and actually win this seat, a seat that he had previously held. Thanks, Gary, for believing in me. I want to also thank my mom, my sister Teresa, and her husband David, who have sacrificed so much to allow me the time needed to serve my constituents well. We all leave this house with memories that will stay with us always. One of my most treasured memories is the first bill of mine that was passed, a veterans bill in honor of my father and those who had served alongside him. It was a bill to assist veterans in securing suitable employment upon the return when their service to our country is completed. My dad passed away before I was elected to serve in the House. So today, I hold in my hand my dad's Good Conduct Medal as a comfort, as an inspiration, and as a reminder of the true meaning of the phrase, we must never forget. It has been my greatest honor to be chosen by my community to accept this responsibility and to be chosen again to come back and continue the work that is so important. To those of you who leave with me this year, I wish you well, reminding you to never stop viewing the world as your home and the people as your family. To those who are staying, I ask you to make this house a home for justice, honesty, freedom, and opportunity for every citizen of this state. To those who are arriving for the first time, I ask you to remember that this great mission that lies before you is one of the highest honors you will ever receive. It is not a personal victory, but rather a personal mission that requires the gifts of humility, generosity, courage, and wisdom. In his book, Profiles in Courage, President Kennedy said when trying to decide which way to vote on an important bill, you have to consider 3 C's. The first C is your caucus or party. What will they think or say if you vote one way or another? The second C is your constituents. Have you voted in such a way that represents them? The final C is your conscience. Will you be able to sleep at night with your decision? Of the 3 C's, President Kennedy said you should always go with your conscience. Well, I believe I have voted with my conscience as a state rep, and I am proud of my record. I leave here with great optimism and faith in my colleagues that you will find ways to seek beyond your differences, beyond party lines, and seek the will of all good people. Let this House have fewer Democrats, less Republicans, and more state representatives. These are high expectations, I know, but they are my expectations based on 6 years of experience in Lansing, realizing that there is hope and goodness in everyone that I have met here. In closing, I wish to offer my support to each of you in the future. Please never hesitate to contact me for any assistance or advice, or even if you just feel like talking. As I prepare to leave, there is only one thing that I'm sad about, and that is I will truly miss your company. So, what will I take from this experience? Allow me to answer that by paraphrasing some of our great philosophers of our time, the Beatles. And in the end, the love I take is equal to the friends I make. It's been an honor to serve with you. God bless you. Thank you.